I'm very happy that the Development Week is starting with very implementable parts of the agenda, like for instance the discussion about investment treaties, about regional integration.
The contribution of the migrant in their countries. If you take the health system of all those countries, take UK, you name them, migrant medical doctor or nurse are the key, the backbone of the effective functioning of the system.
Governments utilize those tools. How helpful are these tools, and how can we make them more supportive for the investment environment and for the governments in these negotiations?
You know, investments are flowing in Africa, but you don't know the legal work, the technical work at a policy making level, the negotiations that have to take place in order to convince investors to come into Africa.
There's an increasing tendency in the extractive industries that the national law doesn't prevail, and you have these MLAs, or like in Liberia, the MDAs, Mineral Development Agreements, that are above the law, which are disastrous, because that's exactly the same thing. Politicians in the country want the thing signed yesterday, and you're trying to say, okay, you know, let's stop, let's look at this beast before we tie ourselves up.
Africa, if you look at it from this list, is the least region, or the continent with the least capacity to adapt to climate change. And it's also the continent that has least contributed to the impacts of climate change.
This is different from the Western developed nations who already have quite a bit of their infrastructure in place, and so now have to reconfigure. But we in Africa have the chance to configure our infrastructure now to making it climate resilient in the future.
It is the public sector, it is the private sector, it is at individual level that we have to fight. If the approach is that it is only politicians that are corrupt, and we limit our fight against corruption aiming at that level only,
is that the discussions that take place here can be translated into tangible actions that have a tangible impact on the continent.
There is need for Africa to be much more aggressive in protecting its own intellectual property, and we mentioned, for example, traditional knowledge, which has been an issue that has been championed.
Now, this joint UNECA and AUC meeting of Ministers of Finance and Economic Development has become such a key part of the diary for anybody who is interested in Africa and is involved in making Africa more prosperous.
Structural transformation has been experienced for real by many countries in different regions of the world, but will not happen spontaneously.
This is an important step forward to ensure that we all pursue the same goals, that we allocate resources effectively, and that we gather, monitor progress together.
A dynamic youth for the Africa that we want, one which is more prosperous, more united, and of course, much stronger.
Distinguished guests, our future rests in our hands. We owe it to future generations to use our limited resources with circumspection, prudence, and wisdom.
We believe the planet and its inhabitants need to have equilibrium. They need to give equal importance to economic, social, and environmental.
Each country's national plan has its differentiated strategies, and some of the indicators are much harder to monitor at that level.
In this meeting, we are emphasizing that as a joint resolution of the AU and the ACA. Why do we want that done? We want that done because we know that technology left to itself is going to undermine the development of Africa and the world. If we don't have technology managed under global partnership, which is intergovernmental, the whole dream of the SDGs will be lost.
The most important thing is to start implementation while building capacity to monitor. If we all want to monitor your performance without assisting you to perform, we are not contributing positively to the ambitions of Agenda 2030.
G5, G5. I wanna G5, I wanna say bye-bye. Thank you.